Please like and subscribe to my new channel, thank you. Dad shot daughter, 4, and partner over secret lover. A secret relationship may have sparked a bloodbath which left 3 dead, an inquest heard yesterday. Andrew Copeland killed his 4-year-old daughter Maisie and her mother Julie Harrison before turning a 9mm handgun on himself. Police believe the 56-year-old painter and decorator fired a bullet into his former partner's head before shooting his daughter at close range on December 29 last year. It is feared he killed him at their home in Aldershot, Hampshire, after discovering that 40-year-old Julie had a new lover. The inquest heard how police were alerted after a neighbor saw Julie desperately bang on a window inside Copeland's end of terrace home as she cried for help. Rachel Southern saw Miss Harrison walking up the path of the £250,000 house. She said, "I heard the door slam and I noticed that Julie had disappeared from the doorstep. I heard bolts go across the door and I could see Andrew in the door's glass window. He disappeared and then I saw Julie appear, banging on the glass. Then her head just went back as if something had been thrown at her or as if she had been hit, and then she just collapsed." The inquest heard Julie had moved out of the family home and had formed a relationship with Lee Johnston, an old school friend she had contacted on Facebook. Mr. Johnston told the hearing, "She had told me Andrew had been violent on a number of occasions. He had punched her and pushed her down the stairs. He had also hit her in front of Maisie on one occasion." The inquest in Aldershot, Hampshire, was told that Julie had gone to great lengths to keep her new relationship a secret. Mr. Johnston said, "She did not want Andrew to find out because she was scared of what he might do. She thought that he would be violent to her and any man that she was seeing." Ballistic tests revealed that all 3 were shot with a Beretta handgun, issued to Italian forces in the Second World War. It is thought that Copeland discovered the gun while working as a builder in Surrey in 1998. Detective Inspector Rawlings said, he found the 1939 World War II Beretta handgun in a skip, along with some live ammunition and test fired it that day. He then decided to retain it and we think he had kept it at his home ever since. Coroner Andrew Bradley ruled that Julie and Maisie were unlawfully killed and Andrew Copeland took his own life. He said, "As awful and as horrible as this is, it is contained to the house. It is a matter of great sadness and I cannot change that for anyone." After the hearing, Copeland's children Craig, 18, and Keely, 34, said their lives had been devastated, adding, "We never could have imagined that our dad could do what he has done. To us, he was an ordinary dad who taught, helped and loved us." 40-year-old Julie Harrison and 4-year-old Maisie went to the house of her former partner, Andy Copeland, for a custody visit. They had separated just a few weeks before. The neighbors heard the couple rowing. Police believe that Copeland forced the pair to kneel side by side and executed them both with a single shot to the back of the head before turning the gun on himself. Miss Harrison survived the initial attack but died the following day. Following the murders, it emerged that Copeland had been convicted in 1985 for threatening his former wife and her new partner with a crossbow in Farnborough. At this trial it also emerged that he had a previous conviction for assault after hitting his wife during an attempted reconciliation. Copeland pleaded guilty and was given a 6-month prison sentence, suspended for 2 years. Post-mortems carried out on Copeland. Maisie and her mother confirmed all 3 died from single gunshot wounds. Julie Harrison died in hospital yesterday, 24 hours after being gunned down by her estranged partner, Andrew Copeland, 56, who also killed their daughter Maisie before turning the gun on himself. Yesterday friends paid tribute to a quiet, gentle and bubbly mother who was intensely proud of her funny, cheeky, little girl. "She was a good laugh and we had an awful lot of fun when we were together. She was a bubbly personality and had a lot of friends," said her ex-husband Kevin Moody, 47. Ms. Harrison's father, Reginald, said, "Julie and Maisie were innocent parties in this awful tragedy." He described his daughter as a happy-go-lucky, bubbly girl, who was completely devoted to her daughter Maisie, our beautiful granddaughter. "The loss of our beloved Julie and Maisie has devastated our family and close friends, and this is something we are having great difficulty in coming to terms with. If there is any good to come from this tragedy, it is that Julie has given the gift of life to many others by donating her organs. Quote. Neighbors described Copeland as an aggressive, volatile man who had become particularly angry when Ms. Harrison, 40, walked out on him 7 weeks ago. A close family friend said the embittered painter and decorator had threatened to kill his ex-wife Christine when their marriage ended in the 80s and vowed to do the same to her new partner, one of his younger colleagues. He was jailed after setting fire to her car, said the friend, who asked to remain anonymous. He said, Andy introduced Christine to another man called Billy when the two men worked together in the mid-80s. After she split from Andy, she started a relationship with this much younger workmate, and Andy was absolutely devastated. He went around stalking them with a crossbow and threatened to kill them both. When he was harassing her, she was so scared I believe she even had a panic button installed in her house. In the end, Copeland torched Christine's car and went to prison, he continued. William Barr and Christine, 56, married in 1987 and had 2 daughters. A neighbor in Aldershot, Rachel Bryan, said that Copeland had also been angry and depressed since Ms. Harrison left him on the 6th of November, adding, when I moved in, a neighbor told me Andy wasn't having a very good time because his partner had taken the child and moved out. Someone told me that he was obsessed with her. He struck me as someone who hated women. She explained that Ms. Harrison had left the engine of her red Renault running on Tuesday morning as she dropped Maisie off to visit her father. But the police were called when it seemed that she had been locked in the house by Copeland. We went upstairs to my bedroom window and a police car with lights flashing came and a policeman knocked on the door. I suppose he must have seen something through the letterbox because he then started kicking in the door, said Ms. Bryan. At the next moment another police car sped in. It went right over the roundabout in front of us and he rushed in and then, looking very serious, he came out and used his radio and then the cavalry arrived with police cars and ambulances. Later we saw the mother coming out. She had her head strapped across the stretcher and she was put into an ambulance. Ms. Harrison, who had recently written on Friends Reunited that she was in a new relationship and happily caring for my daughter, was taken to a specialist neurosurgical unit at St. George's Hospital in Tooting, but died at 9:30 a.m. yesterday. A former care assistant, who separated from her husband in 1996, she had become a cleaner so she could devote time to looking after her mother, Betty, who had multiple sclerosis. In her final years and had an older brother, Chris. Sally Denny, 35, whose son Noah was in the same reception class as Maisie, said, I have known Julie 2.5 years. She was a lovely, reliable friend and a great full-time mum. She was a quiet and gentle person. She continued, Maisie was so full of life, a happy, funny and cheeky girl who knew how to bring a smile to people's faces. She loved to sing songs by Katy Perry in the car on the way home from school and enjoyed playing Kiss Chase with Noah. In that way she was a bit of a minx. My last memory of her was seeing her perform in the school nativity. She was dressed as a star, but she will always be an angel. Yesterday tearful mothers and children from Maisie's toddler group lay wreaths beside other floral tributes being placed around the end of Terrace House as forensic officers continued to examine the scene. The vicar of local church, St. Michael's, the Rev. James Martin, said, It's really just a shock it's happened and the toddler group decided that this is what they would like to do. Everyone is very upset and we are appalled by what has happened. This is a very stable community and what has happened is a real shock to everyone. It's made all the more poignant and upsetting by the fact that it is Christmas. Liz Mathias, head teacher of Maisie's school, St. Michael's Infants, in Aldershot, said, We were absolutely devastated to hear about the tragic incident involving Maisie. She was a delightful little girl and a daughter that anyone could be truly proud of.